guys, Kate Begoya again. In my last video I talked a little bit about the start of my journey into being a digital nomad, and in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about my actual experiences as a digital nomad. So these are kind of my top 5 tips for getting started into this crazy lifestyle. So as I said in my last video, number 1 is make a decision. Decide what you want. Decide what you want to create in life and make a commitment to making it happen. That's really how everything starts. And it can be a slow process, it can be a fast process, but just commit to it and small actions add up. Number 2, stop obsessing about packing, because you're gonna get it wrong. This is what I tell everybody that's thinking about doing this and comes to me. Like, I obsessed over packing, and I think just about everybody that I know that went on remote year also obsessed about packing. I mean, I think I had 4 months between when I decided to accept remote year and when I departed, and I spent a good amount of that time obsessing over what to take. And I bought all sorts of specialty gear. I read every article about packing. I bought the high-end wool, smart fleece material, all this stuff that everybody says to buy, right? I invested because this was going to be a big trip and I had to have everything ready to go. I don't have hardly any of that same stuff. I sent nearly an entire suitcase home of things, which I'll probably end up frankly donating once I actually come back to the States. And then other stuff has just gotten shredded or donated as I've gone. The wool blends that so many digital nomads raved about on their blogs, when I got to Asia, it was like wearing asbestos clothing. I mean, it was so hot and miserable. It just didn't work for that climate. So no matter what you do, you're probably gonna F it up. So stop obsessing about it. Chances are you're going somewhere where you can buy whatever it is you need, and you're going to buy things locally that are going to suit the climate better and suit your needs better. So the caveats to that, to the stop obsessing over packing, is do pack things that are really important to you or super hard to source. And so this is going to vary for everyone, but what you might want to think about a little bit is where you're traveling and what you're going to have access to. So like I said, you can get just about anything anywhere in my experience, but there are certain things that are a little harder. So for women, if you're a little larger in the bust or you have some curves, you might have a harder time with bras and certain pieces of clothing in Asia, where people tend to be a little bit smaller in stature. If you have really large feet, I've heard that it's very difficult to find shoes in Asia, for instance. Just little things like that. So keep those in mind, and maybe pack an extra bra if that's a hard item for you to source, or if you're very particular and there's a certain type of sock that you wear and that's the only sock you wear. I'm not sure you're going to do really well as a digital nomad, but if that's you, make sure that you stock up on those socks. Pack light. You're just going to keep wanting to get rid of stuff. It's just too much. I do know a couple of people that pack with an extraordinary amount of stuff, but it's pretty rare. Most people that I talk to, within 6 months of traveling, they're ready to ditch a lot of their stuff. I myself moved from a suitcase to a backpack because I was moving around so much this last summer that I needed the flexibility. I don't actually love backpacking. I don't like being a backpacker. And so I'll probably be going back to a suitcase now that I've started slowing down a little bit. But the point is, I went from, when I left the United States, I had 60 kilos of luggage. Oh wait, no, that's not right. 60 pounds of luggage, which was little over 40 kilos, I believe. And now my check-in bag averages about 16 kilos or 20 pounds a month. And that's everything I travel with, aside from my laptop, which I always carry on board. And that's the last tip for today. It's for the packing stuff. And that is to carry anything critical with you on board. It's very, very rare that an airline actually loses your bag for good. Worst case scenario, you usually get your bag back within a few days. But that said, if there's something super critical or anything that you need on a day-to-day basis, carry it on, because it does happen. Super simple tips. Get at it. I'll see you on the road.